Hey guys, and welcome to the final part of Let's Play Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions on the Nintendo DS. In the last part we entered this mysterious mystery palace or something. Yeah, we entered a Mysterio's weird purple dimension. Not too sure why I went for purple. I guess that is the evilest of all colours. And yeah, so in this part we're going to be exploring the final area of the game. Now, before you go any further in this, you've got to know that this is the area where the final boss is going to be. So if you say aren't too confident at the game, you're not too, you're a bit worried about actually fighting the final boss here, what I would suggest you do is now, while you're not too far into this place, is to go back and actually explore other dimensions and see if you can get any power-ups there, because you're going to need them. The final boss, I'll get into that once we get to it, but yeah, you're going to need some power-ups. It's a pretty easy boss, but again, I'll get into that. So yeah, if you're not too sure, if this is your first time playing, you're not a big video game player, just go back and get some more items. But if you're playing along with me, then you would have got a load of items, or all the items in Amazing Spider-Man. But I will be posting a bonus video showing all the items. So if you just look in the playlist of the one after this video, you'll probably see a bonus video showing all the items. So if you want, you can go watch that video, and if you're stuck on the final boss, then you can use that video to actually get the items and make sure you're super buff. Although I think later on I'm going to show a run of the final boss where I don't go back and get any items. So you're going to see how to do the final boss without having to go back and get extra items, so don't be too worried about having to do it. So this is the final area, and I actually really like this area of the game. One of the problems with it is that there's about 3 or 4 of these sections. I think, yeah, there's 3 of those sections. Actually, was there one at the beginning? I can't remember. Anyway, quickly I need to explain what just happened here. This is a bit where you have to use your spider dash to get through. Now, you want to watch this video slowly and actually see what I did, where with that first jump, when you're dashing, you have to jump onto the wall where it's diagonal, so you actually continue running downwards rather than just stopping. And then afterwards, when there's that other ramp, once you're going along, then make another jump. I'm not really explaining it too well, but you just saw a video of me doing it. I was thinking about messing up on purpose to show exactly how you do it, because if you just spider dash normally, it won't work. You just won't be able to get through. And then if you have to make those 2 jumps to make sure you do it. So I came along like a big flash I was and just did it first time, but here on my practice profile it took me a while to actually figure out exactly where you're supposed to jump. So if you're stuck on that bit, just go back and watch it in slow-mo, or just see where I jump, and you should be able to do it, not too tricky. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I really like this area of the game because it's quite cool, it's a bit different, it's very linear, there's not much exploration, which is kind of nice at the end of the game, so it's like you don't have to worry about finding all these upgrades, you've got all the upgrades you're going to get now, you don't have to worry too much about finding every single vent, or looking in every single nook and cranny, as the kids don't say. And you can just, it's just good gameplay actually. Because in the Web of Shadows, the last area in the Web of Shadows was a bit boring. There wasn't much to it. It was just another standard area, but it was a bit purple. But in this one, you actually do have obstacles to do. Like with the spider dash there, you do actually have to think and actually do have to do something rather than just going through the level. So these combat sections that you have to do, by the way, as soon as you enter this place, they're much like when you unlock like the glide power and all that. Pretty much exactly the same actually, but instead of easy enemies you get these guys who I already mentioned in the last part, I think, aren't too hard to fight, but they do have a lot of health. And then we have these weird guys as well who have a lot of health as well, but aren't too hard to fight either. All you have to do is not stand in front of them for too long and they're fine. Although you got to watch out for the ones that have laser beam guns. Yeah, I don't know who gave this hideous man with his hideous arm, and then his quite nice arm actually, his other arm actually makes a lot of sense, but his hideous arm, I don't know who gave him a laser beam. But so what's also interesting about this place is that you do have to use, I believe, all the powers that you've unlocked throughout the game from doing boss battles. So if you have missed any power-ups, don't worry, because you can get through this whole area without getting like all the extra power-ups, but you do have to, you know, obviously defeat all the bosses, but of course you have to defeat the bosses to get here, so don't worry too much. And you can't actually go on the purple bit, and yeah, there's a bit of thinking involved. You know, you have to actually do some platforming in this game, which is like the first time you really have to do some proper platforming, so it's quite nice. I would have kind of liked more of these platform areas in the game. I would have preferred a lot more, you know. But this jump right here is really tricky, because I was thinking that I would have to use my spider glide, or whatever it's called, just glide, but it's Spider-Man, so. But yeah, this is the way I did it, like that, just trying to time it just right, because you can't swing on the, you can't swing on the purple stuff, so I just timed it just right, and it may take you a few goes, but do what I did. And then this bit, I was trying not to fight these guys because I didn't need to, and that's the easiest way I found, to jump in the air and actually web at an angle, web at like 45-degree angle, and then get up there that way. I'm not too sure if that's the official proper way of getting up there, but you know what, it works just as good. But what's quite nice about, apart from when you're in those rooms where you have to fight everyone, you don't have to fight these enemies, just keep going and you'll be okay. Yeah, you can just run past them, whatever, no problem. But one thing, I was talking about the momentum meter before, and I kind of forgot to mention one thing about it, and what actually makes it kind of really important and really cool, or really handy, is that when you gain momentum, you actually increase how much damage you do in each hit. So as you can see, how much damage I'm doing at the moment is 19, but if my momentum meter was like at 0, I would be doing 17. And you can see, because I keep hitting enemies and my momentum's gone up, I'm actually now doing 20 damage in each normal hit. So the normal hits is where you're going to see it, but in all your hits you then suddenly start doing a lot more damage. So it's in your best interest not to get hit by the enemies, and to say keep moving around and to keep hitting them, because then once you max out your momentum, like I'm going to do in a bit here, you can actually do 21 damage. So you know, it's definitely in your best interest, and it will get fights over a lot quicker. And also now at this point I have the shield, so my momentum doesn't go down when I first get hit, because I have that lovely shield, which is all very nice. But then these guys kind of decide to punch me about and blow me up a bit, and there goes all my momentum. A good trick is to avoiding those is you can just press R and dodge them, but you're going to want to just take their weapons off them and throw them at them, because they hit for really big damage. But as you can see there, that guy fired at me and did 40 damage to everyone, so again, they're not too smart. But this gives you a really good opportunity to practice any combos you want to practice, because these guys are pretty much punching bags, so if there's, you know, if you want to look at your combo list, I think you can pause the game at any time to look at your combo list, and you want to think, hey, I've got a boss coming up, I'm towards the end of the game, I may want to hone my skills. Yeah, you can do that, and this is probably the best time to do it. Me, I just did the same old strategy, the old swinging, the old slam, doing the hammer attack, doing the old back kick when I land, because those tactics, that's all you really need to do this game, or to beat this game. I mean, if you want to be a perfectionist about it, then yeah, I would say use as many different combos and combinations as you can. But me, you know, you can get through this game by just doing this the whole time. But you want to definitely do the old web kick here, because these enemies, they're just going to beat you up if you stand still, and there are 4 of them. So, but without further ado, we now got through this area, so let's go to the final boss.
Insignificant fool, you and your spider friends are center stage to the destruction of reality. All will be Mysterio!
All looking forward to tears.
Okay, that guy's clearly mental. He doesn't really have any sort of plan. So here we go, final boss time. It's against Mysterio. He has several sorts of attacks. Wait, what attack is he going to do here? He has that attack, which all his attack hits for massive damage, by the way. It's definitely in your best interest to focus on avoiding attacks. Now in this fight, what I actually did was keep on wailing on him, because I had enough health where I could do that. So, I mean, this is a decent run of this fight, but I'm sure there are better runs, and maybe there's people who are watching this who have done a better run, but I would say a lot of the tactics are... The first tactic is when he's on the ground, whichever way he's facing, you know, get in behind him. Keep swinging around when he's on the ground trying to do his purple attack, and that attack, as we just saw there, if you get in behind him, you can do some really good hits. But you want to be careful of this because he actually will just punch you as you're punching. So my best tactic I found to avoiding his punch is to get in behind him quick, do a combo, and then uppercut. And when you do the uppercut, the chances are you actually will just avoid his attack completely. So that's pretty nice, that's kind of nice. And then he has this slow moving orange ball, which is very, very easy to avoid, but the main problem is that if he does it really close, then you're just going to get hit by it. And you don't want to get hit by it because it hits for 60 damage, so as you can see, or as you may notice, all his attacks are just going to hit for so much damage. He's going to... A lot of this fight is simply avoiding his attacks or trying to attack him, which is pretty much every boss fight, thinking about it. So yeah, as you can see, I got in there, and I think the weaker he gets, similar to the Web of Shadows boss, the weaker he gets, once you get him to like half health, he will then be easier to attack. So as you can see there, once I got him behind him, I could actually uppercut him, but at the first half of the fight, you can't uppercut him, he will just not move. So yeah, once you get into past half health, you then can just attack him like a normal enemy, and as long as you avoid his attacks, you're not too, you know, it's not too bad. So a lot of this fight is just attacking him enough to get him to half health, and then just attacking him like a normal enemy. And I would suggest doing what I'm doing, web swinging, pressing B again when you're web swinging. If you press B again, you will kick. So just stay on him and make sure you're doing a lot of damage. And as you can see, it's actually a pretty good run. I only lost like 240 health, so if I could do that just being just running around like this, then I'm sure you could do it. And the shield does come in extremely useful in that fight for the momentum thing, so make sure you have that, definitely. And that's it. Pretty short boss battle, especially for the final boss. A lot easier than the one in Web of Shadows, I tell you.
You must escape or be erased from existence with it. And that's my cue.
Right, so because I guess they weren't feeling too original when they made this game, they have this. It's a running sequence. You don't get any map, so you don't know where you're going, but you just keep following and going like this. So there's no real strategy to it. Try and do the spider dash whenever you can, because the spider dash is a lot quicker than web swinging like I am doing. And you might be able to spider dash up these walls, but again, it's not too hard. I did this first time, it's not too bad. So as you can see here, I'm just web dashing and running up the wall like this. And it's a lot quicker. And if you mess up, do what I'm doing here as well, and just do some wall jumps. And you do get a lot of momentum from doing the old web swing as well, so... But yeah, the reason why this is a rip-off, because you may think, oh, it's just like the Metroid games where you have to run away, which it is. Oh yeah, I also had trouble here. I would jump and do what I'm doing there. That's the quickest way to get up there, because you can't wall jump because the gap's too big. But yeah, this is also a complete rip-off of Web of Shadows, where exactly the same thing happens, like exactly the same. You go into this weird purple place, you defeat the final boss, and then you have to run away, and you don't get a map screen, and you have to do it in time. And I'm assuming, like in Web of Shadows, if you mess this up, you don't have to restart from your last save, you just have to restart from... Well, I'll shut up for a second.
Brave heroes. Together, you have saved an untold number of dimensions. These universes owe you a collective debt of gratitude.
I couldn't have done it without you, fellas. Well, maybe I could.
Perhaps someday we'll work together again.
You certainly make a spectacular team.
The Fantastic Three! Or the Spider-Man. Spider-Mans? Spiders-Man. No, Tri-Spiders?
And so ends another awesome adventure of the amazing Spider-Man. Now stay tuned. Who knows what awaits our hero next? Until then, I bid you Excelsior!
So yeah, if you do die on that bit to finish my fort, you do just restart. You don't have to do the boss again. You just restart once you defeated the boss. So yeah, pretty good game. To give my thoughts on it, it's a shame it's a lot shorter than Web of Shadows. I did that game in 12 parts, and I did this game in 7 parts, so that's quite a big difference. I mean, Web of Shadows was short as it is, so it's a shame that this game is even shorter. Although clearly it's just because they wanted to put this out at the same time as the console versions. And you can see that because like one dimension is cut out from it, and you know. But overall, I think I prefer Web of Shadows to this game mainly due to length, because this was ridiculously short. I mean, it's crazy just how short this game is. I mean, we're done. That's it. That's the whole game. But they did put in some effort. If you want, you can then play through hard mode. You can go back and get all the collectibles you miss. You can change the exploration difficulty as well as the normal difficulty. And as I already mentioned about the challenges in this LP, you can... Now I've unlocked a bunch of challenges. I've unlocked time trial mode, I've unlocked boss rush mode, so yeah, even though this game's short, there is a lot of extras. But me personally, I don't really care that much about doing boss rush mode. A lot of people do enjoy that and think it's cool, and it's a cool feature. But it's just not for me, so yeah, you can actually spend a lot more time in this game if you want to, but this is pretty much the whole story done. Now, one thing I did really like about this game is how the exploration was done and how you got upgrades. I did prefer that a lot more to Web of Shadows, because in case you don't know, in Web of Shadows you defeat enemies and get purple orbs, and then you spend those purple orbs on different upgrades. I think it's a lot better to, instead of rewarding player for the combat and for defeating enemies and just grinding, to reward the player for actually exploring and actually using their powers to find new parts of the map. So I thought that was done a lot better. I thought it was very cool having the 3 different dimensions and having the 3 different Spider-Mans, but it's a shame that the maps were quite small. It was quite easy to find stuff. Exploration was there, but it wasn't as much as a focus as it was in Web of Shadows, so it was still really fun, and there's a lot of improvements here. It's just a shame that there was, they kind of downgraded a few areas from the last game, because the story is kind of obviously downgraded from the console versions, which obviously it makes sense, but you don't really get into the story that much. I mean, it's pretty cool, but you go from boss fight to boss fight so quickly, it's kind of hard to get absorbed in the story, although it's Spider-Man, so how much story do you really need? It's a guy who's a mutant Spider-Man, so... But, yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to stick around, because, yeah, the rest of this video is credits. It's insane how long these credits are. I thought I'd leave them all in, just so you can see them, but this is just this. It just keeps going and going and going. And in case you're wondering, this came out in 2010. The game that followed it was Spider-Man Edge of Time, just in case you know. And that was actually handled by a different team. The guys that made Web of Shadows and made Shattered Dimensions, this game didn't make the next one. It's Edge of Time on the DS is made by someone completely new, and it had not to give a review of the game, but it had the same kind of core ideas, but it was so badly made that it just makes me wish that, or hopefully this year in 2012, whatever Spider-Man game they make, because they're making them every year now, whatever DS Spider-Man game they make, hopefully it'll be by these guys, and it'll be a sequel to Web of Shadows and Shattered Dimensions, rather than just some new company who obviously can't make games. So, but anyway, I think I'm going to go now, leave you guys with the credit. So I've been Onstorm23, thank you very much for watching this LP. If you enjoy this LP, don't forget to check out Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I would probably recommend watching that LP before this one, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a great LP. And also Web of Shadows is a great game, so if you enjoyed this game, then definitely go and pick Web of Shadows up, because you can probably get it for just as cheap. So, and also don't forget to subscribe, of course, if you like this video and my videos, and and like and all that kind of stuff, and watch my other LPs. So yeah, I'll be Onstorm23, and I hope to see you on a brand new LP. Alright, see you later, guys.